Good morning. So, this is the message for the 15th of August. These are timeless, so whenever you come across it, there will be something here for you if you're drawn to listen. So, if you'd like to sit or to lay down, if you would like to open your energy, drop into your heart, connect with your essence, and ground into the central sun of Middle Earth, then this is for you. You do not need to know everything yet. Beloved soul, there is a particular kind of peace that arrives when you stop demanding that the future explains itself before you are willing to walk towards it. We often believe we need certainty before we can move. We want to know how something will unfold, whether and where it will lead, whether it will work, and what will happen if it doesn't. But life rarely offers that kind of guarantee. Sometimes the next chapter begins with nothing more than a quiet feeling that something has changed, a sense that you are ready for something different, a knowing that you cannot remain exactly where you are, or simply a small curiosity about what might happen if you take that next step. That is enough. You do not need the entire map. You do need enough trust to walk the portion of the path that is visible. Perhaps you have been waiting for a sign so unmistakable that doubt becomes impossible. But signs are not always dramatic. Sometimes the sign is the repeated thought that you will not leave. Sometimes it is the relief you feel when you imagine choosing differently. Sometimes it is the quiet excitement that appears when you consider a possibility you once dismissed. And sometimes it is simply the realization that staying exactly where you are no longer feels like an honest choice. Listen to those quieter forms of knowing. They do not need to shout to be true. There is also freedom in accepting that you may change your mind along the way. A first step is not a lifelong contract. You can learn, you can adjust, you can discover something new and allow that new information to reshape your direction. This is not indecision, it is responsiveness. Life is living, and therefore your relationship with it must also be allowed to remain alive too. You are not required to make today's decision with tomorrow's wisdom. Tomorrow will bring tomorrow's information. Today, you only need to meet what is actually here. Perhaps there is something you have been postponing because you cannot guarantee the outcome. Ask yourself gently, what if I did not need a guarantee? What if you could simply begin? Make the call, explore the possibility, have the conversation, Create the first piece. Take the walk. Write the idea down. Say what is true. Or perhaps, for now, simply admit to yourself that you want something more. Sometimes acknowledging the desire is the first movement. There is nothing wrong with moving carefully. Caution can be wise. But there is a difference between moving carefully and keeping yourself permanently at the starting line. Fear often tells us that we need more information. Sometimes we genuinely do, but sometimes we already know enough to take one small step, and we are waiting for certainty because certainty feels safer than possibility. The truth is that possibility always contains some unknown. That is what makes it possible. You cannot know everything before you begin. You discover some things by beginning. And perhaps this is where trust becomes something more practical than a beautiful idea. Trust is not believing that nothing difficult will happen. Trust is knowing that if something unexpected does happen, you will meet it. You have done that before. You have adapted. You have learned. You have changed direction. You have found strength you did not know you possessed. You have survived chapters you once believed you could not. Let that history become your evidence. You do not need to know everything about the road ahead because you know something about yourself. You know that you can respond. You know that you can learn. You know that you can begin again. And you know that life is not finished simply because one path closes. So today, release the pressure that you have to have everything worked out. Let some questions remain unanswered. Let some possibilities remain possibilities. Let the future keep a little mystery. There is beauty in not knowing. It leaves room for discovery. It leaves room for life to introduce you to something you could not have planned. And perhaps the most important thing you can know today is simply this: you are allowed to move forward without having every answer. You are allowed to be curious. You are allowed to begin imperfectly. You are allowed to take one step and then another. You are allowed to trust yourself enough to meet the future as it arrives. The path does not need to reveal itself all at once. Sometimes it appears because you actually walk it. So take the step that feels honest. Not the biggest step, not the most impressive step, just the next one. Then pause. Breathe. See what appears. And when the next piece of the path becomes visible, You know what to do with it. Walk forward and trust the unfolding. And the closing affirmation for today, I will say slowly. I release the need to know everything before I begin. I trust myself to meet each moment with wisdom, courage, and discernment. I allow the future to unfold without demanding that it reveal every answer in advance. And if you'd like to place your hand on your heart, I do not need the whole map. I only need the next true step. And I trust myself to take it. So today, trust that step. Take that step. Honor the journey. Ina kara arui kia san. I shunoi kia kia nohoa. Ara ino sunu ueki. I shaki kia na ara uru. Un su iki kia karahon. Shukukwai kina ikia. Ara unu kuikia. I shaki kia na ara uru. Un kuhi kia han. You are loved. You are supported. You are guided. Trust the path will unfold as you slowly move forward. Honor your light. Live in the present and revel in the beauty of the unfolding. Until we meet again, Namaste.